Welcome into the San Francisco 49ers Report. Chase Sr. here with you. And of course, as always, no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making this edition of the 49ers Report a part of your night if you're watching with us here late on Friday, or a part of your morning if you're watching and getting up here with us. Coming up on the show, Niners draft grades after day 2. San Francisco has made 4 selections so far. We'll also take a look at the top available players for the Niners as we shift our focus ahead to Saturday for rounds 4 through 7. A player who I have not had the opportunity to talk about in full detail, and we did talk about the selection of Upton Stout when we were live, is Upton Stout indeed, a cornerback out of Western Kentucky who the Niners selected with one of the final picks in the 3rd round here on day 2. Really intriguing player for a couple of different reasons. If you've been watching my draft content here in the lead up to the draft, we did spend a lot of time talking about Upton Stout as a potential possibility for San Francisco. This pick signals to me that the Niners want to keep Diamador Lenore on the outside with Renardo Green as the other perimeter corner, and then they're going to use Upton Stout, who is primarily a slot corner, and use him on the inside. And the big theme for San Francisco, they've brought in a lot of interesting players so far, and we're 4 picks in, and they have gone defense, 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 defense. In a way, they are rebuilding that unit. This has been a Robert Saleh draft. They have to feel comfortable with where they are offensively. Number one, that's Kyle Shanahan's specialty. They still have some really good players there. You hope that Brock Purdy can continue to grow. I do have concerns about the offensive line. Those have been my concerns for the last few years, and up to this point, here we are about to pivot to round 4. Still no offensive lineman for the Niners, but you understand where they're coming from, right? They lost a lot of players on defense in free agency. They still have so many holes there, and so they're trying to address that and bring in an influx of youth. For Upton Stout specifically, why is he interesting? I'm excited to break this down. He's a very quick player. He's smaller at 5'8", as I said, but he's willing to hit, and he plays a lot bigger than his size. And for that lack of size, he's a really good run defender from the nickel spot. And so the Niners are bringing in a promising nickel prospect whose biggest issue is a lack of size. Some of the ball production has decreased and fallen off a little bit throughout his college career. You know why, though? Because he's so good. And he has good instincts at making plays on the football. And he's been so good at North Texas for 2 years, Western Kentucky the last 3 years, that he has not been targeted a lot by opposing quarterbacks because they know that they're throwing the football into a dangerous territory on Upton Stout's side of the field. He is a smaller school guy, but this is pretty significant as well. Jim Harbaugh a couple of years ago was looking to bring him in to Michigan. He instead decided to stay at Western Kentucky. Some interesting draft nuggets, too, for San Francisco. And you look at Upton Stout's numbers from last year, 52 tackles, 8 TFLs at 5'8". That's incredible. 2 pass breakups and 1 pick. Is that the Niners take cornerback Upton Stout, who's 181 pounds, but put up 21 reps of 225 pounds on the bench press. That led all defensive backs. And then the player who we're about to talk about, linebacker Nick Martin, he repped 225 on the bench 26 times at just 221 pounds. He also said there are 2 linebackers who I really respect. Did Nick Martin, Ray Lewis, and Fred Warner. The only jersey he's gotten is Fred Warner. Now he has an opportunity to start alongside him. But for Stout and Martin, they're putting up a lot of reps on the bench that is more than what they weigh. And so the Niners are bringing in some really strong players here. More on Upton Stout. 4.44 40-yard dash in the pre-draft process. He can really run. The Athletics stained Brugler on him. Had him going in the 5th round. But a lot of people had Renardo Green going in the 4th. He went in the 2nd, and he was awesome for the Niners. Brugler said his lack of inches shows versus size and coverage, but so does his competitive urgency. his controlled movements in all areas of the position. He projects as a slot corner who can be a role player similar to Avonte Maddox, who for a long time was a really good player for the Philadelphia Eagles. Stout is also very fluid. He has controlled footwork to play man-to-man. He has enough speed to catch up to guys if he gets beat and run with very fast wide receivers. Also, in some of this in-depth draft research that I've done, you find this, not only the most reps on the bench press among defensive backs, 19.47 miles per hour during the gauntlet. That was the fastest among defensive backs at the NFL Combine. And you see that with the physical and sudden movement that he has with his game. He can sniff out screens well, in addition to being a good player against the run. His wingspan, for his lack of height, is actually pretty good. He is very competitive. He also played on kick and punt return coverages in 2024, so he can contribute on special teams too. Experience lining up on the inside and outside. And really the only downside on him is that shorter and leaner frame. But I like this pick. Maybe it's a little bit of a reach, but I'm looking forward to seeing him competing for slot nickel snaps as a rookie. Because right now that position, it is wide open. So I'm going to give Upton Stout a B grade. Then we go to Nick Martin. I did a full video on this. Niner fans are going to fall in love with Nick Martin and how he plays. Heat-seeking missile, doesn't shy away from contact. He's very physical. He's a tackling machine. He will, despite his lack of size at 221 pounds, free himself loose and dodge offensive linemen so that he can make tackles against the run or against ball carriers. He did miss some time this past year with a knee injury, but he was able to come back, and then he did his drills at the NFL Combine. 5'11", 221 pounds, but clearly so strong to put up those 26 reps on the bench press. 4.53, 40-yard dash. 2 years ago, had 140 tackles, 16 TFLs, 6 sacks, that's the blitzing ability, with a forced fumble, 2 passes defended, and 2 interceptions. He was the first team All-Big 12 player, led the Big 12 in tackles, led the team in sacks, TFLs, and a team captain. And high-character guy, 2-time team captain who plays above his weight with hitting power. He reminds me a little bit with his playing style of Dre Greenlaw, with the way that he plays a little bit. That's why Niner fans are going to really enjoy watching him play. His recovery is pretty good. The run game instincts are lacking a little bit. He can watch the quarterback a little bit too much in coverage, but there is a lot to build off of with Nick Martin. Uses twitch to sidestep climbers and operate inside the tackle box. Impact special teamer as a redshirt freshman. Again, he can help with that third phase of the game. 11 tackles in 2022. And those tackle numbers, very impressive. We're talking about him being second in FBS with 83 solo tackles in 2023. So the Niners had a need at slot corner. They address it with Upton Stout, who played a lot in college. 5-year college player. So I don't think he's going to be phased by much at the next level. And then they had a need at off-ball linebacker, weak side Will, and Nick Martin has an opportunity to start there. He also has a lot of experience. 35 games, 19 starts, 203 tackles in his career. I'm a fan of the player. It may have been a little bit of a reach, but the playing style and the attitude and the swagger is something that Nick Martin is going to bring back to this Niners defense that they lost last year. And with Mykel Williams, with Alfred Collins, with Nick Martin and Upton Stout, these are players who are tenacious, aggressive, high-energy, high-motor players. And the Niners need an influx of that to bring their identity back, which they did lose last year. 2 more players who I want to talk about, and we'll give out grades for. Then we'll take a look at some of the top available players going into day 3, rounds 4 through 7. But first, the Niners Report, sponsored by our friends at Chubby's. We really appreciate them for making a lot of our draft coverage possible. And here we are at the end of April, right? So spring is here, summer is coming up around the corner, and it's time to up your wardrobe a little bit. And it's time to let those thighs breathe, whether you're playing around a golf with the fellas, hitting up a beer garden, visiting an actual garden, hitting up the beach, a lake, doing something outside. Chubby's has you covered for all of the good vibes that warm weather brings. If you want a bright polo that can demand a lot of attention, check. You want killer shorts that show off those beautiful thighs, double check. You hitting up the pool or the beach? Well, Chubby's has a lot of different swimsuits, and their classic line swim collection has your new favorite trunk for those sunny days. For everything non-water related, their original shorts, which is what we've been showing you as well, provide that classic look with a fresh vibe and a modern fit and a mix of laid-back style and performance. And at the end of the day, your wardrobe deserves a springtime and summertime upgrade. So to sweeten this deal, we care about you and how you look. You know what I say. Look good, feel good. For a limited time, Chubby's is giving our listeners, our viewers, 20% off your order using our exclusive code CHAT, C-H-A-T, at chubbysshorts.com/chat. You can pair your shorts with a performance polo, and some of these shirts, they go well with a swimsuit as well. So whether you're getting dressed for a work day, a workout, or a weekend getaway, Chubby's has you covered. 20% off. Use that code CHAT. We'll put that link down below in the comments section and in the description of today's Niners Report. To the Niners' second-round pick, 43rd overall, Alfred Collins, the defensive tackle out of Texas. When Alfred Collins and Mykel Williams get off the bus, you're going to say, oh, Lord, those are some big dogs. Those are some big horses for this Niners defense. Alfred Collins is 6'5" and 5'8", 332 pounds, and he is excellent against the run. A big effort for the Niners in this draft, getting better against the run and improving what has been an absolutely horrid run defense in recent time. Upton Stout, good against the run despite the lack of size. Nick Martin, good against the run despite the lack of size. Alfred Collins, he's good against the run and has a lot of size. Fantastic run stopper, great power and strength, has the knack for using his powerful hands. He can also jump up and knock down passes at the line of scrimmage. Really good pass breakup numbers this past year with 7. He needs a better pass rush plan. Chris Kocurek is going to come in there because it really doesn't exist beyond effort and some push. But he's also a very sure-handed tackler. And his missed tackle to tackle rate very good. He had 55 tackles in 2024. He only missed 2 tackles. That's excellent. And then with Alfred Collins as well, he was very durable throughout his career. He played in 64 of 65 games in his 5 years in Austin. And it's another player with a lot of experience. This is very reminiscent of what the Niners did last year. They drafted a lot of players who played a lot. And then what did they end up doing? They were, I think, top 5 in rookie snaps a year ago because those rookies had to play, partially due to injuries, partially because they were ready. Renardo Green, Dominic Pooney, Malik Mustafa, significant snaps. Ricky Pearsall, Isaac Guerrero, they ended up getting some snaps. And so Alfred Collins, just a physical freak, 6'5", 332, 85-inch wingspan. Mykel Williams has a wingspan of like 87 inches. And the vertical leap at that size, 26 inches. That's the ability to rise up and break up some passes. He also blocked a field goal, so you can use him there as well. And so does need better pass rushing moves. But this is a player who can really clog the interior, and it's hard to find defensive tackles who fit the wide 9 in trying to stop the run. Alfred Collins is one of those players who's going to occupy a lot of real estate, he couldn't be more different from a Malik Collins or a Javon Hargrave, who weren't good in stopping the run. So my grade for Alfred Collins, B. I thought you could have had him a little bit later, but you get him at 43, and he's dramatically going to help your defensive line. And then, of course, the first-round pick for the Niners, Mykel Williams. They got him at number 11. They said all along this was their guy, 6'5", 267, 4.77 40-yard dash, a wingspan, I said 87 inches earlier, almost 83 inches is what I said. It's been a long last few days, but the coverage continues to hum. With Mykel Williams, you can see why the Niners drafted him. He can set the edge. He is really good against the run. He is very physical. He was a freshman who started on a Georgia team that won the national championship. You'd like to see a little bit more production, but the sack numbers throughout his career, similar to Aldon Smith's, and the frame, similar to Aldon Smith's. And those players, respectively, had a lack of sack production in college, 14 and 14 and a half, but Aldon Smith ended up being a dominant player. Obviously, things went awry for him because of some issues that he couldn't control off the field, but what a special player on it. Mykel Williams can win with a bull rush. He can win with a rip move. He had some absolutely wow plays on tape throughout his career at Georgia. The thing with him, he averaged like 33 and a half snaps last year. And so with more playing time, you would imagine him getting some more production. 26 pressures, 5 sacks, given those amount of snaps, is solid production. It's not elite. The other thing about Mykel Williams, he's only 20 years old. So a huge, hulking player who is a good complement to Nick Bosa. Should be able to set the edge, force runs inside, set the edge, and be able to make tackles in the backfield, force guys to the perimeter so that the Niners defense can pursue there. And you have your elite pass rusher in Nick Bosa, who has all of the moves. I mean, he's like an architect and a student of the game with how nuanced he is, with how he wins with all of his moves. Then you have Mykel Williams, who's a little bit of a different player, but this Niners defense is going to go from a team that couldn't stop the run to hopefully is better against stopping the run, and the level of athletes that they're bringing in is very intriguing. Mykel Williams, for me, I'm going to give it a B grade. I would have gone Jalen Walker over Mykel Williams. I may have gone Ariante Ursary, the offensive tackle out of Minnesota, over Alfred Collins. But again, the Niners are addressing massive needs here. I don't like how they continue to ignore the offensive line. It drives me crazy. But at this point, that's their philosophy. And there are some decent interior offensive linemen still left in this class in rounds 4 to 7. So grade the Niners draft so far. A, B, C, D, or F, let me know. And then quickly, Chip, let's just take a look at the top players available here who are still on the board. It's, of course, headlined by Shedeur Sanders. Such an odd story in this draft that he's still available. We're at a point where I'm not sure if teams are just trying to troll him because they don't like him and he didn't have good interviews and he was a little bit of an asshole. I mean, the fact that Dylan Gabriel went ahead of Shedeur Sanders, that's crazy to me. I love Alec Ayumanor to the Niners. I think they need another wideout. This is a 4-4 player who can go up and get it. Go back and look at the tape of what he did against Travis Hunter. Very impressive. Good numbers with a bad offense and bad quarterback play. Marcus Bow, good guard out of Purdue. Jack Sawyer, an edge rusher who is a twitch. He doesn't have a lot of bend or explosiveness, but he's just a damn good football player. Antoine Powell-Ryland, edge rusher out of Virginia Tech. Jalen Royals, wide receiver there. Dylan Sampson, running back out of Tennessee. Very deep running back class. Cam Williams, is he an offensive tackle? Is he a guard? That could be a player who the Niners like. Texas, Steve Sarkisian, connection to how Kyle Shanahan likes to run his offense. Braden Swinson, really good player. Edge rusher out of LSU. He popped this past year. Bashal Tootin is a running back who can move. Billy Bowman, safety out of Oklahoma. Quincy Riley, cornerback Louisville. I know a lot of you love Cam Scadaboo. I do as well. Didn't want to take him in round 3. Maybe you can get him in round 4. You have Torrey Horton, wide receiver, Colorado State. Kyle Kennard, edge rusher, South Carolina. And then Gunnar Helm, good tight end out of Texas. Can we take a look also at the picks? We'll take a look at the draft picks as well. We're burning the midnight oil here at Chat Sports because it just doesn't stop. Draft weekend, one of the best weekends and stretches of the year here at Chat Sports. Niners equipped with some pretty good draft capital here. We ran through the picks for San Francisco. Mykel Williams, Alfred Collins. They address linebacker with Nick Martin, Upton Stout at that cornerback spot. Still to come, round 4 pick at 113 and 138. 5th round pick at 147 and 160. And then 3 7th-round picks, 227, 249, and 252. Thank you so much for supporting the show. This has been the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr. San Francisco. We out.